All right, so I'm going to do a quick video tutorial on how to make Kahoots for the classroom. So this is the home page of Kahoot. I am currently using the Apple app that is compatible with Kahoot. It looks almost identical to the web page, except this bar is along the top, but this just makes life easier for me here. So here you have the home page, you have the Discover page, your library once you create Kahoots, and a button to create on the sidebar as well. So I am going to make a Kahoot and show you guys the step-by-step process, but I decided to make mine on national parks. You can pick a theme, you can make your Kahoot public or private. If you're still working on it, I'll just make mine public so it's easily accessible. You can select a cover image from those that are provided up here. That one looks like it's right on theme for us, so I'll use that one. And then we can go down to this bottom right corner and start adding questions to our Kahoot. Before we get there, this screen will pop up and you can pick the type of format you want your quiz to be. You can see the ones with stars next to them. Those require a more premium subscription beyond the basic one that I have. So I'm just going to do a normal 4-question multiple choice quiz, but you can also do a true or false quiz with this subscription. So click there. All right, so jumping into how to create your questions here, you can see down here is where you add in your answers. You add your question in here. You're able to add a photo or a video with a question if you'd like to do so. You can also manipulate the amount of time that the students have to answer the question. And you can also change the amount of points that a student can earn from each question. So I'm just going to keep it at 1,000. Okay, so my first question about national parks is, what was the first national park? So I am going to add in 4 different national parks down here. The first one being Yellowstone National Park. And this one is the correct answer. So I'm going to click this box here. So the students will get the points if they select Yellowstone for this question. So 3 other ones could be Yosemite National Park. We can do Zion National Park. And we'll do Redwood National Park. All right. And you can select, again, one of these photos up here if you had the premium subscription, but I will just do that for now, and I'll save this one, and we'll add more questions. Okay, I'm gonna add another question down here. The same screen will pop up. This next question, I wanted to show how to use this media function at the top since that's available too. So I'm going to do the question, what national park is shown in the photo? And this one will be pretty obvious, but just to get that student engagement, I'm going to choose from my gallery, and I saved this photo. So you can crop, you can draw on it, you can add effects to it, but I'm just going to leave it as is. So the question is, what national park is shown below? Obviously, that's Arches National Park, and I'll make that the correct answer. So that's another way to include a visual with the question if you wanted to do that through Kahoot. And then I can add 3 different answers. I finished that question. I wanted to do one more example and show you the true and false function. It looks just a little bit different with the 2 options, but just to include it in the tutorial, I could do true or false. There are no national parks in New York State. And that is that already has those filled out for you. That is the correct answer, so we select the correct box down here. And there is another question for our Kahoot. Now that I have all of my questions into my Kahoot that I wanted to include, we're going to go up to these top three buttons up here and click preview. We can see what it looks like, or what the students will see once you project it onto the screen. You can see my first question popped up with the answers, and it has the running time clock along the bottom as well. So I don't know if you can, yep, so that was the right answer. So you can see I got 717 points. It's out of a possible 1,000 for these ones. As the time decreases, as you wait to answer the question, you start to lose points. So the maximum amount of points is 1,000, and then as it gets closer to 0, you can get less and less points. So the faster you answer the question, the more points that you receive. So now that we're done with that, we're going to save our Kahoot. So that is all set. And once you're ready to present your Kahoot to the class, you can click on your Kahoot in your library right here and press start. And this will give you all the different options that you can do with your class, but I found the live game is the most exciting to the students. You can also assign the quiz to students individually if they want to practice on their own, but for the purpose of this presentation, I'll do the live game. We're going to do the classic mode, which each player will play on their own. You can also do a team mode if you want to make teams, but I usually stick to the classic mode so you can view each student's progress and knowledge. So once you click that, you'll direct your students to get out their devices they're going to work on, and they can either add in this game pin or scan this QR code below to enter. Okay, so on this sidebar here, you can see you can manipulate some of the settings as well. The students can create a character for when they enter the game. You can change the theme if you'd like to. You can change the music. Unfortunately, I can't find a way to turn off the music, but you can choose a different one of those. You can randomize the questions, the answers, and yeah. So I'm going to go onto my own device and log in using my phone. Again, all the students will need to do is Google Kahoot, and they can enter in that game pin, or if they're able to do so on a smartphone, they can scan that QR code, and that'll take them right to the Kahoot, and they entered their name. So you can see my name popped up, and since it's just me, we're just going to start the Kahoot so you guys can see how it goes. And I'll add in screenshots of what my device looks like as well, so you guys can see what the students see as well. So we have our first question: what was the first national park? I did already show you guys the answers to this question, so I'll select Yellowstone National Park. And what's really nice is you can see how well your class does on each question. So if you need to take a little extra time and dive into it and remind them where to find these answers to review, you can see immediately how well the class does. At the end of the Kahoot, you can see individually how each student does in that report that Kahoot provides for you. So those are some great evaluation tools as a teacher. And then another other thing that you can see after you see all of the correct answers and incorrect answers here, and you go to the next questions, it'll show you where each student is lining up in the Kahoot. Obviously, it's just me in this Kahoot, but normally it'll show the ranking of how well each student is doing with each question. So you can see that. All right, and finally, at the end of the Kahoot, once it's all complete, it will show the podium where you can see which students performed the best on the quiz. So After you are able to see that and celebrate those students, I like to go here. And obviously this is my quiz, so hopefully I would get the questions right. But um, if students struggled with particular questions, they'd be listed here for you to review. You can see the class average up here. You can get more feedback. You can ask your class for feedback if you'd like them to send information back to you, if they thought this was really hard, if this was really easy, etc. That's a great tool as well, but this report screen is probably the most useful tool as a teacher to see how your class is doing, especially if it's a large group. Um, and I'll include some screenshots of what the student's device will look like as well on their end. But that is the ins and out of creating a basic Kahoot. Hopefully that was helpful and informational. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the discussion. I'd be happy to talk about it. Hopefully you guys can use Kahoot in your classrooms as well.